Hello. I had some really nice comments on the graphics that I chose to use recently in social media. And I also had somebody ask, did I use AI? And I thought, oh, no, I didn't. So actually, I'm going to show you what I did to create those graphics, how easy it is for you to do that. And I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to do this in Canva. Now, I use Illustrator. I'm going to share my screen and physically show you. So this is my Illustrator document. I have this saved and I can come back into it and add different things to it as and when I want to. So I'm going to grab an artboard, which I have got up here, and I can click Alt and drag down here. We can see, if I zoom in, that's it. So on the artboard, and you can set that to whatever size you want. I think there's probably an optimal size for social media, but I like to get them as square as possible. So this is just an image on the artboard of some leaves that I found on Unsplash, which is a free image website. Photographers, very good photographers on there, who are happy for you to use their images and just would like a credit. So wherever I can, I put the credit in for the photographer. Then I've darkened it off with a tinted box over the top, and then my free text here, that's going to go a bit blue when I highlight that, but this can pretty much say anything you want it to say. So this can say whatever. Oop, I can't type. And then the smaller text likewise, usually for maybe a little bit more detail. So here I've got better access, better user experience, better return on investment. And that's talking about optimizing your website inclusively. Keep an eye on the spelling. And then what we've got here, this is the screenshot. This is a screenshot, just taken an image from my webinar, the stats in the webinar. And so what I would do is place the image into this file and then either make it whatever. You see that stretches, it distorts it. So that's useful to us in a little while, but not right now for that. So I've just got to make sure that when I'm moving that around, I'm moving it carefully. There's my screenshot. Now, to get the reflection effect, you can copy, and I'm hoping you can see my windows here. So I come up to Edit, and then I would choose Copy or Command C if you're using the keyboard. And then I would come back up to Edit and Paste in Front, which is Command F on an Apple if you're using the keyboard. So paste in front. Now it looks like nothing's happened because nothing's visually changed. However, if I moved that, you would see that there's now two of the exact same thing. I'm going to use Command Z for undo, move. So it's now back in front of it exactly. And doing it that way just means that it's all exactly lined up. Now, if I grab the top, as we did earlier on, I've just got the front one selected and you'll see it stretches it out of shape. If I bring it down past the bottom of itself, then we've got the reflection, and you can see that turns it upside down, and it is a reflection of the screenshot itself. So that in itself is a reflection, but it doesn't look like a reflection because you can still see it as dense as the image atop above it. So what I'm going to do is come to my transparency panel and turn the transparency of this reflection piece to 30. Maybe that's too much. I'm going to try 50% transparency. So now we can see that it's more like a shadow or reflection. That's as simple as it is. And then I'll save out the artboard to a PNG. Setting the size of these, it's up to you, whatever size. I'll go with square because a square overall, because it just fits in then with different platforms. I just thought it was worth sharing so that you know that it's not AI. And then I hold this file and then I can just duplicate, add and make whatever screenshots I want. And that's what I use for all of them. And that can be photographs that I've got a screenshot of one of my graphics from the webinar, or a screenshot of the inside of my studio, training program studio. So whatever your screenshot is, and then you've got that consistency, and that is all important when you're talking about brand. So using the same font on the same background, and then the styling is the same for each of those screenshots. And I will probably apply that. So I try and apply that also to things like quotes, testimonials, notices. So whatever it is that you're working on, you can be consistent, and it's probably a good idea to find a way that suits you, that means that you're not having to use AI all the time. Don't get me wrong, I use AI when it comes to photographs. If I wanted to create a scene, especially for networking for the Ladies Who Latte, I don't always have permission to use other people's photographs, but a photograph of people depicts those people, those women. So where I have had photographs and with permission to use them, I might put those into AI. Right, I have permission to use these photographs, but I need some variations of them, not mimicking the people, but creating some new ones with new people. Now, I don't see any problem with that, as long as you're being transparent and you're being honest about the fact that you have generated those images for use with that company, for that company. So not a problem with AI, but when I've gone to the bother of creating them, I kind of want people to know that I haven't just created a visual with AI. If there's something specific that you're trying to crack and you're having trouble with, then you can easily go on my website and book a power hour. And for 1 hour, we can cram in as much as you've got. If you have a list of what you want to go through, we can work through anything that you've got to do with design or optimization for your website.